Welcome to our event this evening as part of Agile 20. We are presenting the South African Joburg Sugsa talk, which tonight is Ubuntu, Humanity and Agile. So this is the biggest global event, biggest global Agile festival ever. It's here to celebrate 20 years of Agile. Sue, I don't know if you want to give us a little bit more info around Agile 20, the Reflect Festival.
Sure thing. So it has been 20 years since the Agile Manifesto was created. So in celebration of that ginormous achievement, the month of February has been especially dedicated to celebrating that by having this global festival with events happening all over the world. It's very interesting time zones as well. And everybody is doing the bit just to be part of the festival. And for us, this is our bit. And yeah, happy to have everybody here. And just a word to the global sponsors for the festival at the top there. Big thank you to them. It wouldn't have been possible without them. And finally, all the volunteers. We have all done this, pulled over 600 events for free because we love Agile, we love sharing, we love the community, and it is our pleasure to do this. That's it.
Awesome, thanks Sue. So if you would like to make a mention of us on Twitter this evening, please use the hashtag MyAgile20Reflect in addition to the Sugsa hashtag, and then it'll come up with all the other stuff around this wonderful event. So if you want to make a donation, because these things do cost a little bit of money to organize, you're welcome to go on to GoFundMe and pop in a few dollars into their account. They will be very grateful. And when you are part of this event, you have agreed to abide by the code of conduct, which essentially says, let's be kind to one another, no discrimination, don't be a troll. If you misbehave, unfortunately, we are gonna kick you off. That's how it goes around here. So thanks so much in advance for your great participation. We are looking for wonderful participation tonight, and what we're going to be doing is we're talking about humanity in Agile, so Ubuntu, and who better to talk about it than South Africans, since, you know, this is the home of Ubuntu. So embracing one another and being stronger together through our humanity, I think that's what we would like to cover. So but before we get looped back to that topic, I just want to give you a brief overview of Sugsa. So you're at a Sugsa event, and Sugsa stands for the Scrum User Group of South Africa. We are a bunch of very enthusiastic supporters of Agile ways of thinking. And we think that this is the way forward and the future of work. Yeah, sorry, the hardy dog. At least you know it's live, right? And yeah, so this is our wonderful committee. We are split between Joburg and Cape Town. So we have 6 members in each of the different cities, and we coordinate and we do lots of cool stuff together. And in fact, one of the great things that has happened during lockdown is we have been forced as a committee to come and work a lot closer together than we have in the past. So we've done a lot of cool stuff together. We've really had fun and got to know each other. Sadly, we've only seen each other once in person, and we were hoping to see more of that. But anyway, that's something for the next committee when they come around in June. So if you want to be sociable, as I mentioned a moment ago, please use our hashtag Sugsa and embracing simplicity, which is our theme for this year. And that is what we are trying to do in everything that we do. And sometimes we get it right. Usually we over-egg the omelet, but mostly we don't do too bad. So yes, be sociable, share links about this event on Twitter and LinkedIn, etc. And find us on Slack. So thanks very much to Anna Linda, who posted in the chat our joining link to the Slack channel. The conversation is open for everybody. There's a whole lot of cool stuff on Slack. So if you don't see that link, jump onto our website, sugsa.org.za, and you'll see in the top left corner, there's a little Slack icon. You click on that, that'll help you to join our Slack channel. Upcoming events, so we are always hosting events. We host 1 or 2 events a month in each of the cities. So the next event in Joburg is going to be the Lean Coffee on the 4th of March, and this is usually on the first Thursday of March. Yeah. And Priyasan and Sue are two of the organizers, so you'll find them there. So if you want to chat to them more, jump onto one of the lean coffees. We are also hosting with our Cape Town group their event on the 25th of February, and it is What is Your Agile Story? So there you're going to have an opportunity to share what your Agile story is, over something that's jumped out for you over the time you've been doing Agile, and in celebration of 20 years. This evening wouldn't be possible without a bit of assistance from our sponsor, who helps make it possible to keep the lights on around Sugsa and pay for our Zoom account and all the websites and the marketing and all the other bits and pieces that we do. So we're very grateful to Kaizen. We would love them to just share a few words. And so I'm going to hand over to Greg for a couple of minutes, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Kaizen. Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks very much for the introduction. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just wanted to introduce ourselves and say thank you very much for having us. We are a group of diverse and different people based around the country. We're a small team. Some of you may know some of us, some of you may not know some of us, but we've got interesting backgrounds, we've got interesting stories, we work at interesting places, and we kind of hope to think that we are interesting to other people as well. So if you know us, that's fantastic. If you don't, please get to know us. And if you're ever interested in joining our growing team, give us a shout. We do have lots of work going around at the moment. Some of the things that we've done in the past have been around working with clients such as BMW, launching some of their big digital initiatives, both here in South Africa and globally. Working at Vodacom, everyone hates their cell phone provider, but don't hate the player, hate the game. Trying to work and make sure that automation can come to life. And then currently doing a lot of work at Old Mutual in South Africa and around Africa, making Pan-African platforms and hoping to bring digital experiences to life in the world. So, you know, that's us, and we're really glad to be here, and give us a shout if you ever need anything. We're always happy to share and be involved and get to know interesting people. That's us.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg. Thank you so much. So yes, very, very cool stuff going on with Kaizen. So if you're looking for some new challenges, as Greg says, the team is growing. And if you're looking for someone who can do some cool stuff in your organization, they're also a fantastic opportunity to talk to. Right, so let me just share my screen again for a moment. I can find it, sorry, there we go. Alrighty, so I mentioned the salary survey for those people that were on the call a little bit earlier. So the salary survey is live on our website, the 2020 salary survey. So if you're curious to know what different roles are earning within the Agile industry, by all means, go and take a look at the survey. You'll find a link to it on our homepage on one of the banners. It's quite fascinating stuff, so go and check it out. And if you like it and you enjoy it, next time we put out the request, please participate, because we'd love to get your input as well, because I think that the data is so much richer when we have more people participating. So tonight, to kick us off on our topic, we have Priyasan. He is an Agile consultant from IQ Business. He's been in the game for quite a number of years, and he has racked up some impressive client engagements under his belt. But I think I know him from attending Lean Coffees, and it's been wonderful to hear his calm voice of reason, and he always has something interesting to say. So I'm very interested to hear what he has to say tell us this evening about Ubuntu and HumanityInAgile. So Priyasan's going to kick us off, and then we're going to open the floor to everybody else, and we would love to hear from you a little bit later what your experience has been around the human aspect of Agile. So Pri, over to you. Are you ready to go?
Hi, thank you, Adrian, and thanks guys for having me on just to share my thoughts around Ubuntu and Agile. And I think it's also an awesome time to be here, 20 years of the Agile Manifesto. It gives us an opportunity to celebrate really the values and principles and the underlying of what really our careers for most of us are built on. So let's kick it off. I'm just going to double click on this. And we're on. So firstly, let's do that little bit of an ice break. When you think of Ubuntu or humanity, what's the one word that comes to your mind? Let's pop that into the chat. I'll give you guys a minute or so just to get that on there. What do you think? My first Linux diet.
I saw that image in the ads. I was like, wow, okay, that was funny.
Authentic, togetherness. Sorry, Al.
No, go on.
Yeah, no, I'm just reading some of them that's coming through. So in this talk, you'll actually see one or two word clouds. I really like word clouds. And this is one that I found trying to understand Ubuntu. And the most interesting thing is that the biggest thing is others. And you know what others bring to you. But a lot of what's being said is coming up as well, you know, kindness, compassion, being positive, understanding. And I see empathy popping up in the chat now. I don't see it on the word cloud, but empathy, I think, is one of the biggest, hopefully not buzzwords, that's on at the moment with us in what we're trying to drive in the community. So what does Ubuntu actually mean? I did a bit of searching on it, and there are a few translations of the word, but the one that stuck with me the most was I am because we are. You know, it brings on that feeling of togetherness, that feeling of team. And in the work that we do, I feel like that's what we're trying to do, right? Drive performance and create teams that actually enjoy doing what they're doing. There was a quote by Archbishop Desmond Tutu that I also found, which I thought summarized it really well. So I'm just going to read that out quickly. So it is the essence of being human. You can't exist as a human being in isolation. It speaks about our interconnectedness. You can't be human all by yourself. And when you have this quality, Ubuntu, you are known for your generosity. We think of ourselves far too frequently as just individuals, separated from one another, whereas you are connected and what you do affects the whole world. When you do well, it spreads out and it's for the whole of humanity. That was the one that stuck with me because it really encompasses everything that we're doing, and it also encompasses the thought of humanity that we're putting in, underpinning what I'm really speaking about. So next, Ubuntu and Agile. How does it tie? And I'm not going to turn around and say, you know, you'll find it in Scrum and you'll find it in Kanban, or you're going to find it in Safe. And it's not necessarily the words behind the Agile manifesto, right? I can easily pick on individuals and interactions or collaboration, or saying just truly understanding that supporting and motivating individuals and just giving them the right environment will allow them to thrive, right? But when we talk about it in our context, I think we always talk about the Agile mindset and, you know, being Agile. And us being Agile really plays out in our behaviors. So in prepping for this, I actually stumbled upon a really cool article. It was actually about Agile leadership, and I truly found it by searching Agile word cloud. But this came up, and what really stuck out for me was the question they used to define Agile in the article. In what one word describes our behavior when we are being Agile? And this stuck with me heavily because I truly believe that the words behind this word cloud ties in with what I do on a daily basis and with the teams that I've worked with, especially at IQ and at Client. And the agility team as a whole really does believe in this. And I think the community that we've grown, I mean, from Sugsa, I mean, look at the big event that's happening in celebration of 20 years of the manifesto. I think that just tells us just how far it's gone to influence behaviors. Initially, when the Agile Manifesto was launched, I know it was said that it was to make development safer for developers again. And now with the next movement, looking at it from a business perspective, really trying to make business you know, safe for the people that work for the organizations again. But the true question behind this is, why does it matter? why does what we do in organizations, from trying to get people to be more creative, more collaborative, just treat each other like human beings actually? Why is it important? So the reason for me is because we're in quite a trying time, I think, as a world population at the moment. Um, Burnout rates are increasing intensely. Staff turnover rates are also increasing. And we're all just feeling emotions that aren't necessarily emotions that we want to feel. You know, it is this big pandemic carrying on around the world, and everyone has this underlying anxiety and these feelings of sometimes helplessness, you know? And sometimes for me, it really comes down to, let's just be nice to each other, right? So don't be cuck, be lekker. I think it's not a bad thing to be a little less cuck, but in that as well, and a bit more seriously, the work that we do truly impact the lives of other people. And understanding that, you know, we were trying to raise the self-esteem and we're trying to motivate people to do better, but we need to understand that they're also human beings, and there's all these underlying factors like love, belonging, safety, physiological needs as per, you know, Maslow's hierarchy. Without those things, no matter how much motivation we try bring to the table, it's not going to be there. So in kicking off the conversation, I really just wanted to leave the thought of togetherness, the thought of the behaviors that bring us to where we are and allow us to do what we do, and allow a space where we can share some of the experiences that we've had. So first, I'm going to share some of the experience that I've had. And I think I've been extremely fortunate over the past 7 years to really work with some truly caring people, not just passionate because they were all passionate in their own right, but it was the care that they brought to work that made our interaction so much more valuable, you know. But every team that I worked in always had some sort of divide. It was like, okay, we believe in, you know, the iterations part, but we need to feed the dragon and we need to, you know, make sure that we're reporting the way we used to. But there was one team that I worked on in particular, and the funniest thing about it is that at the end of the engagement, we were no longer just a team. I think it was a family in which we created. And that's why the I am, because we are hold so strongly with me. So this is the team. And if you look at them, they're all laughing, they're all smiling. Most of them are on this call. And the thing is, throughout that year that we spent together, we went to war and we really just came out stronger. It wasn't only the action learning that we had or the need for alignment all the time. You know, we also learned the true meaning of pineapple in our safe word, and that caused us to change that. But it was all the corny jokes that made the tears okay. It was all the fights that took us back to the drawing board to come back and say, you know, even though we don't know how to do this, we can learn as a team and grow. Our leaders were with us all all along the entire journey, backing us no matter what. And I still sometimes sit and think, you know, what created this amazing team? I'm not sure if it was because we were a team of agilists and psychologists. Maybe that's what brought it together. But at the end of the day, it's been now a year since our engagement, and we're all still, I think, the closest of friends. We know each other's families, and I think any problem that's thrown against us as a team can be solved. And those are the things that we strive for when we start bringing agility into teams, right? We want to get rid of the finger pointing. We want to take ownership of the things that we're doing. We want to actually develop and create really amazing things and be supported in doing that. So a big part of it for me was us having the same mindset, being the agile mindset, and creating this team. So I know that everyone else on this call also has some of that experience, and I'm hoping that we can share that now. So really, in the spirit of Ubuntu and sharing, let's take this opportunity as a community to really share some of the experiences that made us feel this feeling of Ubuntu and really underpin the values and the principles that were written down, what, 20 years ago, right? So it's not peer pressure, it's just your turn. But thank you.
Maybe while everybody is thinking about their experience and jogging their mind at this time of the day, I could start off. I think that we can all agree that we have been through one of the toughest years globally ever. 2020 was epic. Maybe it's because there were 2 2s and 2 zeros in that. But one of the things that we worried about when going remote was how we were going to continue working. We thought, you know, it would be impossible, we would lose that personal touch. And when we first started, I know on my side, the Scrum Masters were just scrambling just to make sure everybody's okay, doing things that we normally wouldn't do, being psychologists, being everything. And we felt like, you know, the year was taking a toll on the teams. But then when I remember specifically in one retrospective, and the question I decided to ask specifically because we had spent forever complaining about what was going on and being depressed about what was going on, it was, what is one positive thing that has come out of this lockdown? And the response from everybody was empathy. And it was interesting to hear. Before, I did not understand somebody, but now I'm in a position whereby, you know, we are all in the same circumstance. I understand that you have a child in the background. I understand that you have to rush to the doctor. I understand that our working hours are being funny. I understand that Eskom is Escoming as there's load shedding. So that was really nice to see, that empathy that's together, that I'll help you, that I am now just I'm more attuned to this feeling of empathy, and I'm willing to be more understanding. The conversations just improved. I remember there was a couple of people that used to, you know, have a lot of conflict, but one of the things that came together is we realized what was going on. We knew we were all going through a lot, and we came together to do our best, and we asked, how can I help you? So for me, that was really, really nice to see. And I don't think that we would have necessarily gone through that specifically if it wasn't for what had happened last year. So for me, that was an awesome demonstration of Ubuntu within the team, and it was nice to see. They sometimes you don't think it's going to happen, but the teams do really teach you something. You just have to take a moment to ask the right question and give them an opportunity to be who they are at the end of the day. So that's mine. Are we gonna raise hands, or do we wanna put a queue in the chat?
Yeah, I think we'll pop a queue in the chat. That will probably be the easiest because I'm not gonna be able to keep track of all the hands. I know everyone wants to say something.
Okay, so I'll demonstrate. So if you have something, you just pop in the letter Q in there. Mine is taking forever to show up, and then Adrian will be able to keep track of everybody.
Yeah.
While those cues are coming along, Sue, I think the one part that I may have actually just briefed over too quickly was, you know, we're thrusted into each other's homes now. So it's not necessarily the person in the suit that you see at the office, but rather the person at home with everything in the background. And as much as, you know, a lot of the issues that we face, like burnout and stuff like that, are increasing at the moment, it's the whole situation of working remotely that's bringing the awareness to it. It was always there. I think the awareness is just greater. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Pri. And Alinda, you popped a queue.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, I also just wanted to share a story. Been working with teams in, well, most of them are based in Mauritius, and some of the other consultants are based in like India, and some are based in Amsterdam. And at not too long after the whole lockdown drama started, and like I had to like flee from Mauritius like a prison in and I mean a thief in the night sort of thing. One of the guys in the team suggested, you know, he thinks that we should send everybody a birthday gift this year until, you know, like until what, you know, when life becomes normal again, which doesn't seem to have been happening. And I was like, I think you're mad, but I like it, you know, because now it's like it's cross-continent, it's funneling money across different, you know, send it to this person with an Indian bank account that can send it to that person with a Mauritian bank account, lots like, and we actually managed to get a birthday gift to like roughly 30 people in like different countries, just because people decided that it was important to like just give a bit more effort this year to kind of acknowledge each other. And I really loved that. And when I realized how many it had been, because it's one of those teams where you're like, okay, we should technically be 3 teams, but okay. And it was just amazing. So I really, really enjoyed that. Of course, the energy's run out a little bit this year, so I don't know if that's going to continue, but I think it was good enough to have one round.
Fantastic. What a great story. Thank you. Nicolette?
Hi, everybody. So this is all very new to me. I actually qualified last year. I worked for a software company before, did some in-house training, but never got a formal certification. So I decided last year during lockdown was the year. I work for a software-based company in the Microsoft stack, and the company's been along for 9 years, but they've never actually utilized Agile methodologies or Scrum. So last year, October, they gave me the opportunity to start that from scratch, and taking over a new role, putting somebody in my existing role has taken so much of my time that I actually did the first introduction to Agile to the company yesterday. Not a massive company, we're about a complement of about 25 people. But it amazes me how the companies function for so long without implementing Agile methodologies in Scrum. So I think my challenge at the moment and my question and the thing that I want to get out of these meetings is I just need help. Like I'm not even sure I know where to start and how to just make this work. So if anybody's got some advice on the best way to start, I found this working from home extremely challenging with my team of developers, just from a project management side, keeping the team together, getting people to switch on their cameras. Mine's not on because it's been a long day, but yeah, it's just getting all of that started and getting everybody to gel, and just, I don't feel it's something that I need to sell to them. I think it's something that is sorely needed. So what was everybody else's challenge? Like, where do I go from here?
Thanks, Nicolette. So great that you asked the question, and you're in the right place. I think we're all wanting to learn and share knowledge with each other. I see Anna Linda mentioned lean coffees. Come to the lean coffee. Yes, couldn't agree more. I think that's the most wonderful place to pitch your questions to a group of like-minded people and then get some cool answers if your topic gets chosen, of course. So check that out. It happens on the first Thursday of the month. Yeah.
Thank you.
But other than that, come to the meetups, join our Slack channel. You can continue the conversation there. We have many different groups, and you can ask questions and enter into conversations. Sue, you wanted to respond to Nicolette?
Yes, I think maybe just to start her off, so she has something. I think when Pre started, he presented that word cloud as what does Ubuntu mean? Or, you know, when people asked what does being agile bring to mind, it's what was shown there: empathy, collaboration. So the first thing that you need to start with is just that idea of, or that practice of empathy, that practice of being flexible, just listening. Because when you listen and you empathize, that's when you know exactly where everybody's pain points are, and that's where, you know, you have some sort of starting point to say, okay, this is the problem that exists. How best can I can I address this or can I help this team? But yeah, like Adrian was saying, please do connect with us on the Slack channel or reach out to any one of us on, LinkedIn. We are a community that really likes to share and help everybody out. But yeah, I think the first thing is before you decide there's a problem, find out that there actually is a problem and what that problem is. So listening, being empathetic, being kind, and getting to know each other as people before we even bring in the roles of Scrum Master and BA and whatnot, because then we sort of skip a gigantic step that makes it a little bit difficult to go back later on. But definitely just getting to know people, that's the best. That's the first step. That's it.
Thanks, Sue. Vian, you've got your cue in the chat next.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll switch on. I am on the carpet laying here, chilling a little bit after work. Teams are still working, but I'm going to join them now again. Yeah, I think a big thing that came out now with this working from home in Ubuntu, the spirit of it is, like everybody says, empathy, but also communication. I think how many times we've taken communication granted, especially my teams, sitting together at the customer before COVID, communication was easy. You just stood up and you walked to someone and you talk. But now it's like getting something out of someone. It's argument and not a fight, but it's a constant argument to say, guys, speak up. And retros also became more around accountability and communication. So I think that's a very big thing and a very big step that's important. I think not just for us that's been doing it for a while, but like Nicolette, you that's starting new in it, the communication level is very important. You need to be able to be open. And I think that's where a lot of teams are slacking, or my team. I had some hard words already today. Tomorrow's our last day of sprint. So some hard words, some hard messages, but it's something you need to come across to say, if you're not going to talk and you're not going to bring your problem forward, you won't know what the problem is, because when you're face to face, you can see someone is not well in his mindset, the way that he's walking, his body language. You can see something is wrong. But over a video conference, you can't see that. Now, I can't see if Andre had a bad day today, or his child has gooid an ice cream to his back of his t-shirt or something, because he looks very happy and smiley. But face to face, you can see it because the body language can express it. So maybe that's a good thing to look into. Say, let's open up more communication, be more forward to what is wrong than just keeping quiet. And that's something that's very important, and that's big for me, that needs to come out. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Vian. Yes, communication for sure. And so apologies in advance. I'm probably not going to be able to pronounce your name correctly. Rayumasa, you're next. Did I get it that badly wrong?
Perhaps they're speaking, but they're on mute.
Sorry, she's dropped off the call. Okay.
Yeah, I was
She's
about
coming
to say,
back
I don't
in
see
again.
the name on the chat.
There she comes. Rayumasa, sorry, you're back again. It's your turn. What would you like to share with us around Ubuntu?
Hi, everybody. So I'm so happy. First of all, it's my first Johannesburg meetup that I've ever joined, because I'm normally in the Cape Town meetups. So it's so nice to meet everybody. Second of all, I'm actually happier now. I'm based in Dubai. So me joining a meetup in South Africa makes me so happy, makes my heart so full. It's so nice to hear, my own accent again. It's amazing. But going back to Ubuntu, I'm in an environment where it's very much a sweatshop. People here work, and they work really, really, really hard. So when I joined the organization I'm at the moment, I had to teach people what empathy was. They had no idea. They thought, being agile is all about just working, using Jira and getting tasks done. And it was amazing to see what a difference it makes when you teach people what meaning of words are versus, you know, I would think, and essentially I did, when I joined, I thought, oh, you know, these people will know, they're in the industry for like 10, 15 years. Okay, it's going to be an easy job. But oh my God, you only realize once you're in it that they don't understand what the meaning of it is. And the culture is so important, and it's so different to what we are used to in South Africa. But now it's better.
Cool. Thank you so much.
That's my
sharing.
story.
It's great to have you here. So welcome back to Africa's sunny shores. It's even sunny today. Andre, you're next.
Thanks, Adrian. So it's a similar story to what Annalinda was telling us. It's not in the same scale. It's not a global story. It's more local story. It happened in Centurion. So during lockdown, I don't know if you guys remember that there was this bread baking craze. So everyone baked bread and you couldn't find any baker's yeast anywhere. This one Scrum Master in our area, she found packets of baker's yeast. And she likes baking and she likes cooking. So what she did is she baked bread and made a huge pot of... Hello? She made a huge pot of soup. And she somehow found the addresses of every person in her team and made them little food packages, little soup and bread packages, and went around, she drove around to their houses and personally delivered each and every one a soup and bread package.
Wow, that's a cool story. Thanks, Andre.
Cool.
I feel like we missed out.
Yeah, we all missed out. What a great idea. That's what Ubuntu is all about. Afika, you typed something in the chat. I don't know if you want to just run through it with us quickly or if you'd like us to read it out.
I'll go ahead and share. I'm realizing now that was a lot of words. But I really was just trying not to ramble and go on and on. But for me personally, you know, when thinking about the concept of Ubuntu and agility, when I started out in the working world 3 years ago, when I joined IQ Business, I didn't even know agility existed, to be quite honest. And, you know, we have this thing at work where we go through all of these interventions. We were learning about all the different parts of the business, which are all great and amazing in their own respect. But when I started to really get into the concept of the Agile team specifically, understanding, you know, the way they work as much as I could, not being in the team itself, what really resonated with me and spoke to me was the idea that and concept that people, they actually care, you know, over and above the stuff that we're delivering and over and above all the different frameworks and everything that you can go into in terms of methodology. It was a focus on respecting people, trusting your teammates, caring about the people that you're working with, and realizing that everything that we do in the workspace essentially is an extension of you. And that's the feeling I got from the agility team. And so I found that so powerful and it spoke to me. And I think just how much we harp on the values and the concepts doesn't maybe get as much airtime as it should, but it's embodied in the way that everybody relates to one another. And I just love it so much. I don't know if you can tell, I'm slightly obsessed. But that was the big thing for me, and just realizing that you can bring your whole self to work and be accepted for the person that you are, appreciated for what you bring to the table, what you bring to the team, and foster these relationships over and above just what your CV said you could do, but how you as a unique Afika can bring an element to the team that wasn't necessarily there before. And so that's the biggest thing for me behind, Agile and Ubuntu. And I mean, just being here as well, it has me in all my feels, because it's just reiterating everything that I've always thought. And it's always so amazing to see and engage with like-minded people, and realizing that there is a space in the workspace to just be you. Yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, absolutely. Caring for others is one thing I learned early on as a leader, is that your team doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me as well. So thanks for sharing. Ridresh, you're next.
Hello. I hope I'm audible. Okay. Good morning or good afternoon to whatever the time zone is. Yeah, I'm calling in from India. It's already night. It's already 9:30 in the night. So I'm very happy and thankful for setting up this meetup. I don't know most of them in the call, but I only know Peter Lee, who is connected to me in the LinkedIn platform. So my question and my experience in terms of Ubuntu, first thing, my experience is like, I work for a 125-year-old IT or automotive company, which is a giant in European Union. So that's really the big thing. We are doing agile transformation, moving from traditional mindset to agile mindset. To whom should we show the compassion? Should we show the compassion to the people who are already working in classical project management methodology, or should we show the compassion to the people who are willing to adapt agile and walk through us, walk with us in agile journey? So I found it difficult last year, although 2020 has been a black swan event. Once in a while, those events happen in human generation. Yeah. So, but apart from that, one experience which I want to share, like the compassion, the team togetherness, is when a team had to celebrate a release, nobody were in same location. Everybody bought the cake to their home. They cut the cake. They showed, okay, they're all happy, showing the cheers. That's like compassion, they are working for the team, togetherness. That's what, for me, that is a Ubuntu for me. Yeah, that's like Ubuntu movement. Because our CTO of my company, he always says, C by the power of 4. That is, first C is for co-create, second C is for communicate, third C is for coaching, and fourth is for celebration. And we followed it, and it's really worked out for us.
Wow, cool. Thanks for sharing. That sounds so awesome. The 4 C's, I like that. The new 4 C's. Celebration, what a great idea.
Nice.
So Shadrach said he likes the idea of connecting Ubuntu and Agile. Ubuntu is a mindset, and whilst we have done well with practices and processes, we may need to continue doing more to encourage that Ubuntu mindset in teams for collaborative agility. Yeah, so thanks, Shadrach. Sue, you wanted to respond to Ridresh?
Yes, because he did raise an interesting question. Who should we show compassion to? I think if we go right back to the Agile Manifesto, values, it's everybody, right? Because when we want to see something, then we need to be the change. Let us quote Michael Jackson, "Man in the Mirror." I'm sure there's lots of things lots of songs that we can quote where, you show the behavior that you want to see in others, and you'd be surprised at how far that would go. You might not see it immediately, but somebody might freak out on you, but then when they go to the next person, what you did made an impact in what they do. And also we always talking about how do we prove value. We demonstrate it, right? And that means that we need to set their example. So 100% agree with what Afika said. It starts with everybody, it starts with you. We just show it to everybody, even the most difficult person. So to take Priya's words, if you don't want people to be cucked, don't be cucked. So yeah.
Yeah, you get what you give, right? Cool, thank you. Who else would like to share with us? We've got a gap now. If anyone else would like to share, so pop the letter Q in the chat if you would like to share what your experience of Ubuntu and Agile has been, bringing humanity back into the workplace.
Niv's got his hand up.
Ah, Niv.
So, hi everyone. I hope
Oh, you're breaking.
So my
sorry, you're breaking up. You want to switch your video off?
Yeah, is that a bit better?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So from my side, where we experienced Ubuntu was definitely at one of the banks where we had a lot of colleagues, specifically from India, and it was just so beautiful the way they, would have this togetherness at lunch, where they would just share a meal and everyone would bring a certain item and just share it. And that was really my first experience as a Scrum Master of how amazing it, like just food can bring people together. And yeah, that was absolutely amazing. To this day, I still miss that team because of those experiences, because it just, just sharing and breaking bread together makes such a difference, as a team. And today, after many months, I had an opportunity to go for lunch with 2 new colleagues who have joined the team, and you miss that, especially with what we're going through with COVID now. So I really encourage those who can, when possible, to just take that moment to have a break and go and grab a sandwich together. It really creates that sense of community.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I think to build on that, that's one of the things that I certainly am looking forward to once we can kind of start to hang out with each other again, is being able to share a meal together and just being able to shoot the breeze without having to have this blooming computer in your face the whole time and trying to juggle voices and what have you. It's just not quite the same, right? It's all being together in the same place. Thanks, Niv. Andre, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, what Niv said made me think of something that happened to me way back. It was probably, I think, 5 years ago. I was working in one of the big banks, and we also had a global team. So we had a part of the team in Joburg CBD, a part of the team in Randburg. We had part of the team in Cape Town, India, and Lithuania. So it was in that time when working remote and in distributed teams was kind of, I think, frowned upon during that stage, or in that time. We had to be co-located, we had to sit around the same desk, we had to do everything together. So what we did to do stuff together is just hooking onto the food thing. Again, a food story coming from me. I haven't had dinner. We used to, so it wasn't every day, but we used to sometimes have meals together. So we had a video conference screen in our work area, and we tried to have video conference in all of our work areas across the world, and have a meal together. Even if you're not in the same place, we still had that connection of sharing food, and we could talk about each other's food. So that made it really, like, the team feel like you are sitting around one table and actually talk to each other about something else than work, and who doesn't love eating?
Awesome, thanks, Andre. Yes, who doesn't love eating? So I've been capturing some of the topics as we're going along, just so that you can kind of see the themes that have been coming up. It's really interesting. One of the topics that I wanted to raise was was there's the saying in Agile, we hire employees and people show up. And I think that kind of encapsulates the whole Ubuntu thing so beautifully. We think that everyone are robots and we can go out there and, you know, we hire for, you've got this degree and you've got these string of qualifications behind your name, and I'm going to sit you down in this chair, and every day, day after day, you're just going to go for it, boy. You're going to turn out that code or test that code or analyze whatever it is you're doing like a machine, and every day is going to be fantastic. And you know, I'm never going to have any issues. And then day one rocks up and the guy got stuck in traffic, and he got lost and couldn't get into the parkade, and he's flustered and he's like nowhere. And then, so the first day is a bit of a write-off, and then the second day is a bit better. And then some days, like, the team are fantastic and they really can bring it and we can create magic together. And then other days, one or two of us are just not there, right? Something's happened. And so we need to acknowledge that humanity in one another. I think that's so important. We have to meet each other where we're at. And as a team, we need to not beat up each other over the fact that sometimes we're going to have bad days. And let's create a bit of safety and say, okay, like it's okay. You can actually be yourself around us. You don't have to put on your mask and pretend that you're that robot that HR put forward for this job. So that was my thought. Pri?
I think the last thing that I just wanted to say and just put it out there is everything that everyone has said is really those little pieces of inspiration that gets you to be the team that you are. You know, it's the coffees, it's the chats around the water cooler, it's someone having a baby, someone getting engaged. It's about those other things that help you grow together as a team. And that only shows in the output of your work. So sometimes we strive for the output of the work and we lose that essence and it pushes us back. It's really, really, really inspiring to see that we all, I think it sometimes becomes funny because on these community chats, it's like we're preaching to the choir, you know. It's the message that we want to share and send out, but it's awesome to see it play out in small ways, in different ways, in unique ways, but all throughout the community, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool beans. So would anyone else like to share? We've still got a few minutes.
I'm wondering, Adrian, if Rajesh can just share those 4 C's again.
Rajesh, you still with us?
Yes. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. The first C, it talks about co-create. Second one, it talks about communicate. Third one, it talks about coaching. And fourth, it talks about celebrate.
Sorry, you're going to have to say them again. So one more time.
I got those now, Adrian.
Oh, you got them. Cool.
Yes. He said co-create, communicate, coaching, and celebrate.
Right.
Yes. Those are awesome.
These are the 4 C's, which are CTO, Mr. Hartmut Ulrich Müller. He mentioned about this, and it really worked out for us.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I saw Dion had his hand up.
Oh, Dion, we can't hear you.
There we go. Sorry, I'm not used to Zoom and stuff. I can't remember. Before lockdown, we started using it. And that was the last time I used it. A thing that stood out for me the one day, during lockdown and stuff like that, that totally stood out was we had once a month, we have a normal coffee session at the office. Now, the coffee session implies that all the developers come together and they can raise their hand on issues, and they put their stickies down, and then everybody votes, the whole 75 people. Then they vote the topics they want to talk about. And for a long time, we didn't have, during lockdown, those coffee sessions. And eventually we said, listen, we must have these coffee sessions. There's there's people that want to ask business stuff, not business telling them stuff kind of thing. And after that, everybody decided, most of the people decided, listen here, we're done with the coffee session. It's a Friday. Let's go on a special group that they created. And you can have a glass of wine, have a smoke, and just chat. And then talk about whatever is on your heart and what you're feeling regarding lockdown so far and with kids and stuff like that. And that was a thing that totally stood out for me, because the elaboration around that time, it was still unknown. It was still, don't know if it will work kind of thing. But the fact that people just said, listen here, put your tools down, and instead of going somewhere and have a beer with someone, let everybody just at your home, have a glass of wine and just talk. And a few months, I would say it was a few months in lockdown, or 2-3 months in lockdown. Stuff that we didn't know. I didn't know that that person in that team is pregnant, or I didn't know, somebody passed away in their family, where normally we had that in the office. Just at the water cooler, you have these talks and see people face to face. But from there onwards, that coffee session went very well. The people started to relax more, and they elaborated more in meetings, and we said we must keep up with that. Like, we still have our once a month coffee session with the whole development team, not only your teams, but the whole development team. And raise your hand, whatever topic you want to talk about. And it worked actually very well. So that was a big part for me, that still people are working from home, but you still know what's going on, what's happening.
Yeah, as Mike says, the ability to be authentic with each other and transparent.
Transparent, yes.
Thanks, Dion. Niv, you had your hand up, and we've got time for maybe one more after Niv. We can hear you.
Sure. So it was kind of in chime with what you said earlier.
Sorry, you're breaking up hectically.
And then you sound like a robot from outer space.
Who's doing the work? Before there was all.
You're breaking up hectically. Please use the chat. Sorry. Annalinda, you've got a cue.
The premise that, people must leave their personal life.
Sorry, I'm going to mute Niv. There we go.
Shame, he's going to be like, I told you guys this whole story and nobody said anything.
That's so mean.
No, just a quick little, I don't know, it's something that you might want to try if you are all still working remotely or most of the time remote. Something that we tried, it didn't work out that well. It was just an experiment, but it is something that I think could work if you wanted to try it. So it's basically like, we called it open air. So we just had like a call set for like 7 to 10 every morning, where if you're free, you just go on there, and then if someone else is free, they'll join, and then you basically just sit there and you can both work on whatever you want to work on, but just to get that sense of like that there are other humans out there, and like you're not just sitting in your little cave on your own. And then also obviously the added benefit is like, let's say I'm working on some new training material, whatever, then I can quickly ask, one of the teammates like, oh, wow, I was thinking of this, what do you think? And then you can have that 2-minute conversation, and then you can kind of adapt and carry on with what you're busy with again. And just, yeah, it really helped me not feeling like, completely separated. So it's something you might want to try if you are all still remote.
Cool suggestion. Thanks, Annalinda. Dion, you get the last word. Oh
yeah, sorry. I just want to add on with what she said. We specific group in our department, they go on, I understand, daily. They've got a group and they switch on their cameras, and while they're working, they just chat like how it would have been in the office. They will chat, and then they will say, listen, yeah, sorry, I'm going to drop off. I just need to pick up the kids. Or they will then suddenly start talking work, in the sense of while they're working, they've got that question, immediately the answer, instead of emailing or pop him a Teams message, stuff like that. And for that team, it works entirely. That they say they never felt like they were at a lockdown kind of situation, because they see the people the whole day. And of course, there were some bad scenarios and jokes that came out when kids come into the, you know, in the office at home or stuff like that, and stuff that kids said. One of the kids, there was a few jokes that popped out. So it's also funny, because then you learn the person also more, that how's the person at home. And stupid things that he will say, listen, just hold on, I just want to go and slap a kid. Just give me a second. I'll be back in a second, you know. Yeah, stuff like that. So it will always be funny.
Keeping it real. Yes.
Keeping it real.
So, thanks, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for your participation. I think this was a fantastic conversation. I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you did too. I'd like to thank Priyasan for teeing us up and getting the ball rolling for us this evening. And I'd like to thank Sue for liaising with our Agile 20 team to make this event happen. I think she's the person behind the scenes that did put in all the hard work. So thank you very much. And thanks everybody for joining us this evening. We had about more than 50 people come tonight. So that was a really great attendance. And so it makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside that all our hard work's not for nothing. So we're looking forward to seeing you next month for our next Sugsa talk. We've got something quite cool planned, so watch out on Meetup and you'll see exactly what it is. I'm not going to ruin the surprise, but I know Zakia's been working very hard, and so we've got some cool stuff lined up for you next month. And come to the Lean Coffee on the 4th and go to the Cape Town Meetup. That's the best part about this this Zoom thing, is you can jump in and check out all these meetups you would have to fly to in the olden days. So,
the flights are really short now. Yeah.
Exactly. Just to your living room. Thanks, everybody. On that note, we're done. Have an awesome evening. And we'll see you.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks.